Welcome to Greg's Maker Corner. In this video, I'm going to be showing just some of what we're doing at Codemash and what it's all about, particularly the maker space and the 3D printing area. I hope you enjoy this. This is definitely a little bit different from my normal content. I thought you guys might like to know what I've been up to and just some of the fun we're having here at Codemash. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. And thanks for watching Greg's Maker Corner. Okay, one of the first concepts here is the Maker Museum. And here you can see that people can bring in projects that they've made. Pretty much anything goes. Attendees can come in and they can put their name down and tell us about their project. These are just some projects that I've done in the past. Of course, the Alien 3D US UFO, the Jewel Thief flashlight is pretty cool. You can either use a switch or push a button to turn it on. Also have the game controller. This is the IoT badge from a couple of years ago that we did, and this is a prototype of the badge, the game controller this year, in a useless box from Just Add Filament. And then of course I've also brought my Tippy Tree parts in case anybody wants to check that out and play. It's just a great game. We've got a few other projects that are, some of them are maybe still being identified. This looks like maybe a robot. And we've got a automotive adversarial node. Really cool project by Sam. Got a 3D printed thing by Andrew Fuller. This is from a Hacker Box, one of the recent ones. It's a playable guitar. And then we've got a super spectacular interactive event-driven light show, or the Kafka Light Show. So at Codemash, we do a lot with IoT and different protocols. Learn about that in sessions. We've also got a Game Pi. And we've got one of the game controllers playing some web radio. We had some custom PCBs from leftovers that we used to practice soldering on, along with these LEDs you can see here. We also had several package kits. This one is the Jewel Thief flashlight that attendees could put together. And this is one of my favorites. This is the Alien UFO. It's a custom PCB designed by Paul Pagel. This was all driven by a 555 timer, and there was also a decade counter on here. So it made for some very tricky soldering, but the end result, as you can see, is pretty amazing. One of the goals of the Makerspace is to teach folks new skills, and many learned how to solder some very tricky stuff. Jamie Hampton, pictured here, did a really nice job teaching folks to learn to solder and had several sessions in the Makerspace. A bunch of tools here. I brought my hot air rework station that I've actually had to use a few times just to fix some of the issues that we ran into with soldering. Got a bunch of multimeters, soldering irons, mats, and wool. One of the staples of Codemash is the 3D printer space, where Brian Carnes organizes it along with his wife Elizabeth Carnes. The space has really grown over the years, and attendees love being able to learn about CAD tools and 3D printers and making their ideas come to life.
Hi, I'm Brian Carnes, Instagram at CDogBrian, and I'm the director of the 3D printing and CAD lab here at Codemash 2022. And I've just gotten off a whole day of teaching children and adults about how to take their real life dreams and make them happen in CAD. We taught probably about 10 or so kids this morning. These are kids that have never used CAD before. And then this afternoon, we made fancier adult cups. Some of the people came back and were working on some castles, like Disney style castles. Those all get 3D printed in the back of our room over here. Last I counted 19 printers. Giving you a quick tour around, mentioned the board a minute ago. We have all the cups that different people have made, and castles have kind of a description so the people in the back know what it is. And then we have here just all kinds of printers in this space. These are some FDM printers. These are some older Ultimakers. And then over here is the printer I've never used. This is an MSLA printer. It's about $200 normally. These are the Form 2s. They print absolutely fantastic models.
Now, what's the price differential on those?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's a $200 printer. Mm-hmm. This is a $3,500 printer.
Well, and for every different material we use, we have to have a different wash and cure station.
Just the bucket.
Different.
Yeah. So if I have gray in there and I put a black one in there, I'm going to get black residue all over.
Oh, so it makes a total mess.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Do you have anything on this table here?
Sure.
That's printed on these printers?
These are...
yeah, show them the mechs.
That's super cool. Look at the quality on that.
And then if you guys are
familiar with Hero Forge, there's some
Yeah.
ones I kind of did on demand for
Very nice.
people. So this is SLA printed. It has a lot of weight to it, and the wheels free spin very well because what I did is take a floral wire, and I don't know if you can see this on
Yeah.
the camera or not, and I just had it bored and then put that on there. So that very much replicates that
That's really cool.
kind of free spinning matchbox
Good motion.
thing.
Yeah.
This is my newest acquisition. The story for this is I print boats.
Oh, wow.
So this is printed
Very
in
nice.
one piece, so I didn't split it. Because this has an infinite Z-axis, it can print very long models. It can just continue to print out the front. You can even put rollers out here and then continue to have it come. This is the default job that comes with the belt, so nothing fancy. But it'll just print one, and then it'll print 2, 3, whatever number you type into the belt software, and then it'll just drop them into a bucket at the end. My business is Sea Game Studios. We sell tabletop games, so a lot of the models that you see on the table over here are from that. We also own 2 pewter shops, one up at Great Lakes Medieval Fair and one at the Ohio Renaissance Festival. Our family's been producing pewter by hand for
really
kind of
cool.
years and years and years. If you see these guys right here, these are produced via 3D printing. So
Tell me about that.
basically the pandemic hit and you couldn't get anything. And one of the things I couldn't get is the rubber that we normally make these molds out of. Using the Formlabs printers and using
making
an
a
industrial
mold
resin
or something.
that's
Yeah.
high temp. They just call it high temp resin.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be rated up to like mid 400s for temperature. I'm not sure what the exact temperature is, but they weren't sure what would happen if we went higher than that. But since the pandemic happened and we needed to make things, we tested it. We actually tested it up to 700 degrees.
Wow.
All we had
How did
was
it-
like, we had some subsurface crazing, but nothing structural.
Amazing.
Totally held up. These earrings were pewter poured at about 565 degrees directly into a 3D printed mold.
Wow. So you had some good success. Now, can you reuse those molds?
Yes, absolutely. We ran
great.
those molds probably about 30 or 40 times.
Amazing.
So we started from a Rhino model on Tuesday, product selling at the Renaissance Festival on Saturday. So
That's very nice. Amazing use of 3D printing. Yeah, you can really see the texture in that.
yeah. I sell a game called Sail Power, which is like just pushing boats around on a table. This is a small scale SLA printed one.
Wow, look at that. Look at the detail on that. That is just amazing. Tell me about Rhino 3D and why you prefer that CAD program.
Yeah, I've been using Rhino for 20 years. It is the best balance between building a complicated shape and having some precision. So
Yeah.
like in ZBrush, I can totally build great organic things, but not super precision. There's not even a measuring, you have to put a ruler into it. If I were to use like AutoCAD or Fusion 360, I mean, they're all right,
Yeah.
but they don't really allow me to get the fast build geometry that I get out of Rhino. So Rhino's kind of that perfect lane. It's been in the gaming industry for a long time. I think it's right around 900 right now.
Okay.
For a commercial license, it's yours. It's not the Autodesk model of pay by
Yeah.
the month. And I absolutely love it. If you have students out there or students watching this, under $200 for a student.
Oh, that's great. Fantastic.
So, and you can totally upgrade from the student version to any version.
So we have this contest going on this year at Codemash. You find little bounty hunters like this, and then you come and give me your name and a bit of information, and then we enter you in for the drawing for this big guy. Boba Fett, that he's, I don't know how many pieces it took to build this thing.
Yeah.
He was very fragile apparently, but it took us a day,
Yeah.
about a day to print the whole thing.
Okay, so I'm going to talk with Sam here about, we have a lot of things like Wolfsbots and Prusa Mark IIIs that are largely untouched, but they're great for reliability. Now we're going to talk a little bit about more of the tweaking side of the printers that we have here at Codemash.
Hello, I'm Sam, and I try to bring about all my machines I can to Codemash to help with the print load. So in this case here, my sister's printer, as she doesn't take care of it all, and she expects me to fix it for her whenever it breaks. This was my personal latest addition to the family. This was a Monoprice Maker Select. I
Nice.
strongly advise anyone who doesn't know what that is to look it up just to see how different it looks nowadays. Standalone, flexion extruder. SKR turbo main, SKR 1.4 turbo main board with a 22 TMC 2209 stepper drivers. So sensorless homing with a BL touch. This is the original Lindar between the two of them.
Oh, nice.
This is much more. This is slightly more stock with the same aluminum extrusion overhaul frame. All my machines have silicon heat masks that do 120 volts into them, so it helps with print times. And if you want to, you can use it as a small cooking surface. Haven't tried eggs yet. Want to do that at some point. This is Astor. He was a monoprice maker select. He still strongly resembles his origins, but this is a all metal E3D hot end.
Tell me about the naming scheme. Where does that come from?
For anyone who likes old 1998 PS1 games, Purple Dragon specifically, I named all my printers after dragons from that game.
That's awesome. I thought they sounded familiar. Yeah, cool.
So if you look back there behind Astor, that should look familiar to anyone who has this
Yes.
specific game.
Cool. Yeah, a little bit different anyway. Nice. Yeah, and these are the models like the attendees have created, right? Either the kids or the...
Yes, all these are printing cups. There were a few... we didn't do any coins this year, and all the cups have been taken care of by the SLAs.
Well, hey, thanks a lot for all your help here at Codemash, Sam, and walking us through this.
My pleasure.
The probably bulk of what I do printing wise, I do on two types of printers. I have my Walls box. These are not the latest workhorse, but they're the CAS 6. They have very large print beds. I can kind of like orient things at a 45 and get a pretty large model out of it. But the real champions as far as no downtime is these guys, the Prusa i3s. And all of these have started like as just a regular Prusa i3 Mark III. And honestly,
Just
I put
keep running and running.
thousands of hours on them.
That's good to hear.
Totally want to get more of them.
So, Andrew, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Andrew Fuller. I'm currently a third-year mechanical engineer at the University of Akron.
And what got you interested in 3D printing?
The first time I was introduced to 3D printing was actually at this conference, Codemash, when I was 11. So that would be about
awesome.
8 years ago when one of the sponsors had a 3D printer. And I was pretty interested into it, and after the conference they gave me this little chess set that was 3D printed, and I actually still have that.
That's amazing.
And that's what started me getting a printer the next year, and eventually I upgraded to 2 more printers, and I've been designing stuff ever since.
It's fantastic. So you really got bit by the 3D printing bug, I guess.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
At a young age.
Just talk a little bit about some of these designs here and what you've done.
This object here is a core based off of the game Portal 2.
Really cool.
It was a very early version, but I kind of like it this way. It gives it more story, because in the game you go through the facility, there's tons of unfinished projects, so that's what I would say about this.
And what CAD tool did you use for this?
That one I used Inventor.
Inventor, nice.
It took me like a week to design and print, but it was still a fun project.
And what do you got here? These looks like some cubes.
This cube is a few hundred individual cubes, so I can take this apart into these 2 repeating designs over and over.
So this entire thing is made up of those 2 pieces, basically, or those pieces. Yeah.
Repeated over and over. My way of
Incredible.
explaining it is either like Legos or some kind of 3-dimensional tessellation. There's even more inside.
And you designed this completely on your own, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was also done in Inventor. Fun thing about this is that I have about, so this is what I would call 1 cube. I have about 65 of these, and 1 cube would take 6 hours.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's
That's a lot of printing.
400 hours of printing. And this is a miniature of one of the rockets we launched about 2 months ago. Whereas I think this is like 1/10 of the height. So it's kind of fun comparison of this rocket to the actual rocket we're building and launching. At this point, I could finally do volunteering, and then I was told, hey, I can do a teach a kids mash session. And so I was also presenting these, and I think the kids enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What advice would you give to maybe a student that might be interested in attending or volunteering for Codemash?
Just start modeling now, because years down the line, you can get to something like this and even further and gain tons of experience and even use that in a career. So it's not just like, oh, it's just making some kind of toy. Even though, yeah, these are fun and you can make them into toys, there's still a lot of valuable skills that can be gained from doing this. And then also volunteering here, proctoring the session, I was able to learn some of the things that I didn't even think I would actually look into.
Well, hey, thanks a lot, Andrew. It's great having you, and thanks for sharing this amazing stuff.
Be back at Codemash after the 2-year break.
Yeah.
It's been really fun.
Awesome.
I'm here at Codemash. I'm here with Greg. I just learned this is the 15th Codemash, of which I've been to 14. I love coming back here. I love the technology that we learn about. I love meeting a lot of smart people. I love the community engagement that we have. This is like a family reunion to me. So next January, Codemash in Sandusky, Ohio. Northern Ohio in January. What's not to love?
Shorts and a water park, right? Thanks a lot, David.